Welcome back to Temporarily Grounded. Several weeks ago I published a teaser video on some changes I was going to make to my simulator. So what are those changes? I've added the Flight Deck Solutions circuit breaker walls. So these are the panels that go behind the pilots that contain all the circuit breakers for the aircraft, as well as the bulkhead they affix to. These come from Flight Deck Solutions flat pack, so you have to assemble the circuit breakers, the decals and the actual bulkheads, but that's all pretty straightforward. Here you can see the captain's side bulkhead assembled, ready for the panels to be added. And here's the first officer side bulkhead with the contact breakers added, and you can also see that I've added a real fire extinguisher as per the real cockpit. Once they're all assembled, they're added to the nose section and fastened in place with 3 or 4 bolts, which are easy to remove, so the bulkheads can be removed at a later date if you need to remove the chairs or get better access to the cockpit. And here's a view from the inside. This is the first officer side. And the captain's side. And here's another view of the first officer side. The next thing I did was to vinyl wrap the outside wall of the cockpit, including making some stripes and some Boeing decals. In the real 737 cockpit, behind the circuit breaker walls, to the right of the captain would be the jump seat, and then the actual door to the cockpit. I don't have room to build that, but I did want to put in some form of door to keep out the light and increase the feeling of immersion. So what I did was ordered a roller blind, and then I customized it and built in a motor which is controlled remotely. I will be adding a guide rail to either side of the roller blind just to seal out any stray light that may come in from the edges. So you're probably asking yourself, with the rear walls added and the door closed, isn't it going to get kind of warm in the cockpit? And you'd be right. So my next side project is to add the ball vents as per the real cockpit, and to install some fans which will be powered on when you switch the packs on, and will draw air in from the side of the cockpit shell where I have an in-wall air conditioner. So I found 2 12-volt squirrel fans that should work great. So my first job was to design some adapters to be able to go from the narrower diameter on the output of the fans to the 1.5 inch tube width, and also the 1.5 inch attachment point to the back of the ball vents. Having 3D printed these, my next job was to design and 3D print some mounting plates to mount each of the fans to the nose section wall. And here you can see one of the 2 fans with the hose adapter attached, and also the mounting plates attached, ready to be bolted onto the inside of the nose section after I'd drilled out a suitable size hole. I will also be adding filters and a mesh just to protect the fans. Next up was to design and build the 2 vents for the cockpit. The vent controls themselves are dummy and are non-functional. And here you can see me testing the fan attached to the hose and also with the vents on the other end, and it certainly seems pretty effective. And as I said previously, the fans will be controlled by the pack switches on the overhead, just like in a real aircraft. And here you can see the captain's side vents added into the cockpit, although they're not yet hooked up to the fans. So the next thing I needed to do was add the 5 circuit breaker lights that are in the cockpit. The first 2 of which are in the lower side panels of the cockpit and are called Grimes lights. With the help of a fellow simmer who has a real 737-300 cockpit, he sent me some pictures of the real Grimes lights along with some measurements, and from these I drew them up in Fusion 360 and then 3D printed them and added LED lights. What you see here is the first prototype. The final versions will be slightly better quality, and also obviously they're going to be painted black. And here you can see me just holding one of them in the location where it will finally be installed, and as I said previously, there's one on each side of the cockpit. There's also a light on the captain's side that goes above the diagonal rail that the window opens down onto. There's one in the ceiling on the first officer side, and there's also one on the floor, and I will be designing these all in Fusion 360 and 3D printing them to add them to the cockpit, and I will publish photos as these get done. Well, that's it for now. The update should make an appearance in future videos, and I of course will keep you up to date on any other additions that I do to the cockpit. Thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe, and if you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. Thanks, and see you next time. Bye bye.